Hello and welcome. This is going to be the first of a series of tutorial on SQL. We'll be using MySQL Workbench, and then if you have installed it successfully, then you should have what this interface when you open MySQL Workbench. On the interface, you have what to create a connection. By default, they'll give you what this local instance MySQL, and then you can always create connections for different purposes. Okay, all right, so all the connections you are seeing here are the connections I created with my various classes. Okay, I'm going to create a new connection for this demonstration purposes. Okay, so you click on this plus button here, and then I'll just call it my SQL demo, or level 300 demo. So level 300 demo. Okay, so let me hit OK, and then you have a new connection there. So we have what the L300 demo. So let's enter this connection. Yeah, so if you have not saved your password to Vault, anytime you try to enter a connection, then you'll be asked to provide the password. But I have entered my password to Vault. Yeah, that is the root password I'm referring to. Okay, and you should make sure you don't forget your root password. It's very important. Okay, yes. So this is the interface of the Workbench. Yeah, or I call it the Workbench editor. So here you have all the editing tools there. Yeah, we have what at the very top, we have the menu bar with a file, edit, view, query, database, and so on. Then below that, we have the quick toolbar. So we have some quick tools we'll be using here. So this will help you to create scripts. Okay. Then going down, you have the navigator. So the navigator usually has two views. We have the administration view, where you can look at management, the instances, and the performance. And then we also have the schema view. So mostly you should be in your schema view such that you can be seeing your databases or schemas as you create them. Okay. Yeah, so you should also know that when we say a schema, we are referring to the database. So we will be using these two names interchangeably, because the schema usually refers to the framework or the structure of the database. Yeah, but that is also yeah, synonymous to a database as far as this particular course is concerned. Now let's go down. We have the information pane right here. The information pane also has two views. We have the object information view, and then we also have the session view. Yeah, so here you can see your connection details, and then the server, and then the connector version. Okay, all right, coming to the main um, part of it, that is the center. We have the coding pane, or where you have your script. So we'll be writing our SQL commands or codes here. Okay. Yeah. Then we also have SQL addition. So if you've installed it for the first time, you see this SQL addition pane here. But you can untoggle it and then put it off from these buttons. And also below you have the output pane. So anytime you execute any command, you should come to the output pane to see the action, whether it's successful or it has failed. So you should also yeah, use the output pane, yeah, whenever you execute your commands. And then you can turn it off at times and then turn it on when you need it. If you have a very small screen, you should consider turning it off and on when you need it. And then even the navigator can also be turned off to provide more space for you, and then you can turn it on again when you need it. All right, so that is a quick tour of my SQL Workbench. All right, so Yeah, let's start by what I mean creating what I mean a database. So a database you can either create it by saying what create schema. So we use a create keyword here. So create schema. All right, then you bring the name of the schema. So that is the syntax of it. So the syntax, we are looking at the rules of what the SQL language. So create schema, you can give it any name you wish. Okay, so whatever you are doing, you bring the name of what the database you are creating. So I'll just call it DB. So maybe let me say DB300. So that is the name of the database I'm creating for this, I mean, demonstration purposes. So let's put a semicolon. So that should end all your SQL commands. So I'm just going to execute. So coming to the execution buttons, each of these execution button has a purpose. When you are to execute an entire script, then you can use what the first execution. But if you are executing only a line, you use the middle execution button here, and then the execute and then what I mean explain. That is a button here. So all right, let me execute it. It's just one line, so I'm going to use my middle execution, and then it creates a database. So you can look at what the output pane. I have what my DB300 what database created. The moment you create it, I mean, you wouldn't find it in your what navigator because you need to refresh. Okay, so use this refresh button to what refresh your navigator. Then you have what the DB300 already created here. Okay, so once it is created, there is another important step you have to take, which is to activate your what your database. So right now you can see that I have so many what I mean databases here, and if I go ahead to what start creating my tables, then um, there will be confusion here because the database management system wouldn't know which of the databases I'm working in because none of them is active. So I'll have to what activate it by saying use DB300. So DB300, then you end it with a semicolon and execute that line. Okay, then you can see that my DB300 database is active, is bold, yeah, compared to the rest of what the databases we have here. Now I have my DB300, I mean, yeah, created and is active. So these are what two important steps you should do every time you what open MySQL Workbench and you enter a connection. All right, so I'm going to make it very short. So this is just a quick tour, and it is what's meant to guide you to what create a database and activate the database. So in the next video, we'll be looking at how to what create tables in our database. You know, MySQL is a relational database management system, and in relational database, we what store data in tables. It means we are going to what create tables inside the database we have created. All right. So see you in the next video.